It's end of July. So that would be very close to our budgeted allotment for that unit. It might be a week or maybe a 2-week rental depending on when here. If it's next week, it's about a week. If it's the end of July, it'll be 2 weeks. So
Okay.
pretty close. Yeah.
Okay.
The fog seal looks really good. I don't know if the gentlemen have all seen it, but that's completed. And construction's going with the re-chip. I believe we started over in Division 7, just north of Irma there, the Fisher Road. What was that, Oscar? Can't hear me? Is that better?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're fog sealing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they've got all the existing cement that we've done covered over. And currently we just started in Green Shields yesterday on that cement job. So definitely on our way.
So how is the cementing coming? Are you still looking at end of the month for completion?
We should be done at the end of next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got a delay today, but yeah, it should be wrapped up by the end of next week.
So are you starting in oil then?
Yeah,
Or
that
what's
would
your
be the
plan?
transition into oil, yeah.
Is the crew taking some time off between the two?
I don't recall, Bob, but I can check into it and
Yeah, well, I
I'll get a
know-
little schedule and send it out. I
Yeah.
can do an email and just kind of let everybody know.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
For sure.
Anything else anybody has? Gravel's going good?
Yeah, it's been busy too, just between the construction and the roll-in crews, just staying on top, plus the maintenance gravel. Been doing lots of approach work as well, building up approaches, adding on to approaches. So it's been a fairly busy summer. It's been going good.
Okay, good.
You did a good job on the Hawkins Road, the cement crew.
Yeah, it does look good too.
Very
there.
impressive, actually, that crew. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good transition between old and new, and it looked really good.
Yeah, that was. There are some challenges presented. This first time we've actually really milled up a spot in the center
Yeah.
and redid it. So you got to look at what you do when you turn your packers around and so on and so forth. So going forward, we'll have to watch that to measure out on the first layer of re-chip to cover over those turnaround spots and not be so tight on our measurements. So we had a little bit extra on our re-chip we had to add to it because you have to have a transition space to turn around in, right? And it kind of damages that chip seal on the transition, right? So
Yeah. It looks good though. I mean,
Yeah.
they've done a good job.
yeah, very particular. This is the first year, actually, I should let council know, on Range Road 50. We were just finishing that north spot there, and it downpoured on the crew right as they were trying to do the road top, and it basically wrecked the road top at that point. So then we had an extra charge of bringing in 2 loads of cement to drop into that and redo that road top so we could fix it. It's the first time it's ever happened to our crew, and it wasn't a scheduled rain that day. It just happened to blow in, so unfortunately we got caught in it. If we had about an hour window, we probably could have made it, but unfortunately it hit us at the wrong time and wrecked our job.
Okay, how did the culvert dips turn out?
Okay, so we got all the culvert dips marked and they all milled them all out. I'm unfamiliar at this point. I don't think we've got any material in them yet.
Yeah.
I think they were planning to start like today,
Okay.
but we haven't got any material into them yet. But they're looking good, and we did actually I found a spot on the Jarrow Road that had some separation in it. It's like alligator cracking right in the driving lanes. So I had him mill that and fix that. It's a short spot. Maybe it's about 3 meters long by 2 meters wide. I don't know if he's driven that and saw that or not.
No, I
but
have not.
that'd be north of Holt's place there on the east lane going north. So I added that into it because it was probably something we needed to do. Otherwise, we'd be coming back trying to fix it next year or the year after. So
Can you mill to the shoulder? Will they mill to the shoulder?
yeah. Yeah, all the culvert dips are milled to the shoulders.
Okay. I'm just wondering about where that, you know where that rig pulled out that time and broke that shoulder off? Just south of the
Oh, just on the
south of
taper.
South of the correction line?
Yeah, that's a little different. That's a little different because that's just on the taper, right?
Yeah.
So to get at that, it's
It's a
a
little
tough go.
dicier?
Yeah, a little
okay.
dicier.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Okay, anybody else have any other comments? Not a motion to approve the report?
I will.
Thanks, Richard. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Okay, safety. I'm short of safety, guys. Somebody wanna? I guess anybody gonna, am I getting questions?
I'll make a motion on that, Bob.
Okay, thanks, Oscar. Okay, any further discussions then? All in favor? It's carried. Okay, green shields.
Okay,
44,000.
so on the wastewater disposal, which was a budgeted line item in the contract for approximately 2,020 cubic meters, was over by, what would that be, 1,030 meters? So we had additional costs added to that line item, so
Okay,
council approval to proceed with the payment.
okay. Any discussion points anybody has?
This is the water that's actually in the cell itself that they had to haul away in a truck. This isn't part of the
Oh,
the
okay.
wastewater management plan. This is part of the disposal of the wastewater to get it out of the lagoon so that they can start the work.
Okay.
They're just about done there?
They have about 80% of the, and I didn't see it yesterday, didn't get out there yesterday, but last week they had about 80% of the bottom done with the geotextile and the fabric. And so they're getting close, yeah. Things are coming along. After they're done that, then they'll start working on the berms and then install the gate valve and start cleanup, really, because they're very close to wrapping. And then we'll have to start working on the boros.
Okay, good.
So the additional $44,000 is exactly for what, Preston? Then?
That's for hauling away the wastewater and disposing of it.
It's just for hauling,
Loading it, hauling it, and disposing of it, yeah.
no extra engineering
No,
costs?
there's no extra engineer costs in that.
Okay, then I'll make that motion that we approve that.
Okay, just one question, where do they dispose it? What do they, how do they dispose
They
it?
took it to the Wainwright Lagoon
Oh, okay.
and disposed of it
Then
there.
they'll just be there.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, got a motion by Bill. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, ratepayer water issue.
This item has come to Public Works desk a few times in the last X amount of years. In fact, I think it was probably 14 years ago they actually did the road top.
Yeah.
So a little bit out on my estimation on when we worked on it. But since we worked on that road top, there's been 2 occasions for sure that we've gone back and tried to appease the landowner by changing some grades on the culvert and helping them out there. This issue hasn't disappeared or gone away. So looking at it with myself and the counselor and construction, Mike from construction, one of the options we can do is source out a borrow on the landowner and then fill this area, shoot the area for elevations first, fill it, and then shoot it after the elevations, and then basically get the information that we need, and then sign off on it with the landowner, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, we would be walking away from this. But they keep coming back to the office or back to the counselor, and they're
Yeah.
constantly having an issue with what we've done for work there,
Yeah.
saying that we've changed the grade and caused them problems.
Okay. Any comments, Bill?
No, I mean, we did, we went out there with everyone out there, and we looked at a lot of ways to alleviate it, and the best way and possibly the cheapest way was to get fill from the landowner and slope it towards the culvert, and I mean, then that pretty well would alleviate us from, once they sign off on it, any further liability in the issue there. So I think it's what needs to be done. Whether council thinks we spend more money in that area, that's up to council.
How big an area is it?
It's probably,
30 meters by 50 meters?
yeah, well,
I mean, that's,
Okay, yeah. I was gonna go on feet, Preston,
Oh.
so I'm not a meter guy, but, yeah, a couple hundred feet by 150 or two, well, a couple hundred feet square in that
that
pen.
might be a little bit generous, but
Could
just to
be.
kind of give you a footprint.
And it needs to, I mean, the slope is already there, but it's kind of hollowed out in the middle, and the water just sits right in the middle there. So if we sloped it towards the culvert and in that pen, then
So
I think
what
it
do you
would-
need for equipment? I would use a grader to strip, well, depending on where the borrow is, but assuming that potentially on the south side, there is a spot there, I'm sure we would work for borrow, depending if the landowner's cooperative. But we could strip that off with the grader and then windrow it with the grader, and then we'd use the backhoe and a truck to haul it over and dump it, and then use the backhoe to smooth it off. And then the grader can come back intermittently and windrow it up, and then the backhoe would haul it over, and then when we're done, we would use the grader just to reshape it and then put the black dirt on top. The landowner would be responsible for reclamating the borrow area for grass and so on and so forth. We would just be responsible for hauling the material. Based on that, if we went with a 2-day haul, we're looking approximately $6,500. If we went 3 days haul, we're closer to 8,000. And that includes about a half a day work with a grader.
What did
I
Mike
might have been a
say?
little light on the grader, but that's
Yeah.
about 5 hours is what I threw that out at.
Mike give us an estimate of what the fill would be, right? I can't
Like
remember. what-
volume-wise?
Yeah, volume-wise. He
Oh,
didn't
I
think
don't,
it'd
I don't
take-
recall. Maybe he told you. I don't recall on a volume-wise.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd take that much, but
Yeah,
to bring it up. It
Yeah.
started at the one end, it just,
yeah. It's probably 20 loads of the truck at least. Yeah. Somewhere in
Okay,
there.
I've been involved in this since 2009, when we built the road. Where this corral is, the road had nothing to, do you believe the road had anything to do with the issues in this corral?
Pardon me, Bob?
Do you believe building the road had anything to do with the issues in that corral? Where the culvert is and where the corral is? I mean, in my opinion, there's a lot of different things that are happening here, but I don't think where this corral's located has nothing to do with the culvert placement.
Not by elevations, no.
So the issue is, and I was out there about 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe 2, I don't know. They phoned me to come out, and I talked to Bill, and Bill said, yeah, go. What they do when they clean the corrals, they keep taking the clay out. Then they get a swale, holds water. So when I went and looked at it, I suggested to do exactly what they're doing here. I said, fill it full of clay, slope it, put a swale along your fence, and then fence the swale out so the water runs into the swale and runs down. So they did it, and I talked to the landowner about a year ago, and I said, how's that working? Oh, it's working good. But the trouble is, when they get to push the corrals out, they just push the clay out, and they make a big hole again. So, for one thing, I don't think it's our responsibility to do this. For a second thing, I'm really worried about what kind of precedent you're gonna set. If we have, anybody thinks that if we built a road by their place and it's affected their corrals, that we're gonna have to go back in and start hauling clay in and leveling corrals. And this thing is, like I say, it's been going on since 2009. And this is not going, in my opinion, this isn't going to appease them. It's going to appease them until they push the corral out again, an agreement or not. They're going to be back and saying, well, you got to fix it. So I have a lot of concerns about going on private land and fixing this when the road had nothing to do with this corral, is my opinion.
I do believe like a little bit of it did, Bob, because I don't think any of it, I mean, you know that the culvert was a big cattle culvert,
Yep.
and I think it did drain in there.
Yeah.
And we changed it. We went in there, I think we went in with an 18-inch, Preston, and then we've put in
Then we upgraded to.
we upgraded
24,
to
I
a
think.
bigger one. I mean, I think it did hold water in there after that, but is it a cause of us doing the road? I think it's more of the culvert replacement. I mean, that big culvert can take cattle and
Yeah.
manure and water
Yeah.
and everything, and the smaller
Yeah.
culverts, they tend to plug off, and
Yeah. But the reason the cattle pass came out is because it was unsafe for school buses. So we built the road, that they knew up front the cattle pass was going. And they knew that we couldn't put it back in again, because otherwise you're building a hill in the middle of a road to put a cattle pass in. And that was, the cattle pass was part of the issue with the bus safety, because they had to have the
Sightlines.
sight line and dirt over it. So, like I say, it's been going on since 2009. I guess the council wishes to keep spending money on this, that's up to you guys, but I'm really struggling with it, and I'm struggling with what is gonna happen in the future once you open that door. Because there's quite a few places that we've built along. We've changed the road in front of a person that has a corral, and everybody else has looked after their own, and like I say, they've done this themselves. Now they're back for more, so I just struggle with it, that's all.
But I think if they signed off on it this time, that was the intent. If we got them to sign off and say, this is the last time we'll be there or taking a look at it. I mean, I don't know what else, there is other avenues that they intend on taking to resolve this issue, and I don't know how much bite that actually has into our organization. I don't know, but it has been posed out there, another threat that they will take action further if we do not do something. So that's all I'm looking at. And for $6,500 in the actual cost, I think it's doable as far as we're concerned.
Oh, it's not, yeah, you're right, Bill, the 6,500, it's not the money. It's more principle, and what door you're concerned about what they're gonna do if we don't do it. I'm concerned what everybody else is gonna do if we do it.
Yeah, and I
So,
understand, I get that, I understand that issue as well. But I'm not concerned about anybody else right now with this, fixing this job.
I know,
That's the only thing I've got concerns
Yeah.
about, so.
Yeah.
I guess I will make the motion right now to spend the money and fix this set of corrals.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
So that would be contingent on getting the borrow from the landowner, and they do the reclamation of that borrow as well. Is that correct?
I think it would be contingent
Yep.
on a signed agreement that
Yeah.
the first thing I get before I did anything was a signed agreement.
Yep.
That they no longer come back after the MD for
Yeah.
anything.
But part of that agreement is understanding what's involved in the work, and
Yeah.
that's, we're just moving the clay. They gotta supply it, and then the
Yeah.
borrow's cleaned up by them.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
by them. So
Yeah.
that'll-
But you'll have an agreement signed before you start it, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And that'll be all in the agreement.
Okay, good.
And that's how we plan, Bill, that's how you understood it as well? Okay.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, good. Okay, Riverdale, Recreation, RFD for Riverdale. Okay,
I'll make a motion that we allow them to do it.
okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, Riverdale rates. Okay, has anybody given us any thought what you want to do? What your thoughts are? I've given it some, but I'll open it up to anybody that's got a comment.
Well, my only comment is that we have discussed in planning about changing planning dates to before January.
Yeah.
So if we did that, we could take this to planning and still have it in time to.
No, we need to get it done now so we can get it out for next year's rates.
For the seasonal,
Yeah. Stuff.
Oh, I guess by the end of the
Yeah,
fall. then.
yeah. See, we
Okay.
usually do it here, so. So.
I was hoping to see some comparisons to some of the other campsites in the area.
Yeah. Well,
We do have, if council wishes to see, we have some to hand out if you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
The Forkway campground, I was just there and I checked the rates there. It's $18 per night with no services.
No services.
No services, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I went through it, and I mean, I checked with other sites that, around us that have golf courses and camping and things, and we're quite a bit low, and what I was thinking, if you went through 15% on everything except the seasonal, and they went 10, I don't think, you'd still be quite a bit lower than everybody else is.
10 and 15, 15
Well,
for
15
the
right across
monthlies
everything.
and-
Well, 15 for everything. Like, when you got that list there of your service sites and your golfing and everything, I would go 15%, round it up to the nearest dollar, and then the seasonal at 10. And then you'd be, your seasonal would be pretty in line, but you'd still be under on the rest, so. I mean, we went 10% last time, right across the board, in
Yeah,
2018.
well, there's no sense losing money on the place all the time.
What's that?
There's no sense.
No, and I mean,
losing
if
money
it's
on the
been
place
5 or
all the
6
time.
years, then I don't think that, I mean, even at those rates, it's not unrealistic.
I think
No, I
we
don't
should
think it is, but-
look at, like, reviewing this more often and going with small increments,
Yeah.
like 2% or whatever the cost of living is, instead
Yeah,
of
got a page number here.
big jumps right away.
22. Yeah, so, but that's just what I thought. I don't
Did
know.
we
You guys could-
raise Riverdale differently, or what happened
What's
there?
that,
I can't
Bill?
remember. Or not Riverdale, but Arm Lake? Was Arm Lake a little,
It's similar, it's the same, how does Arm Lake work?
we
It-
did, I thought we moved the rates up there because there were some people who were unhappy with that.
I don't.
Maybe we just went seasonal, I can't remember.
Yeah, I know that we did something, Bill. but-
With Arm Lake?
Yeah,
Well, the contractor adjusts the rates there, and we approve them.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
whatever
that's
they
right.
suggest, we just approve the rates. We
yeah,
just
so then
adjust.
where are they at?
They should be actually on the sheet
On
in
here?
front of you there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Oh, okay. That's your goal.
You got your glasses on, Richard.
You gotta do it in small steps, so Oscar. I mean, you
thanks,
might do 15 this year. Oh, I know, but I don't think you wanna hit it too hard. But you could do it shorter period of like a percentage now and then 2 years down the road, do it again or something like that. But that's just a number. You guys can come up whatever number you think.
No, I think you're pretty close, Bob, to that 15% puts us in line with Arm Lake.
Yeah.
Right.
Then, but I would round it all up to the nearest
Yeah, no,
dollar.
no.
So you're not dealing.
Because $13, I mean, $15 is unserviced, and they, 10% on the 13 is $14.65, and that just goes to $15. So everything's pretty well matched to
Yeah.
Arm Lake.
Yeah, so I didn't actually use Arm Lakes. I went to other places that have those similar services. But I don't know, that's just what I thought. I don't know what the rest of you guys think.
You initially put that campground in for
Yeah, we're,
a little, so
We're a
a
bit
family
low
could
on
enjoy it
some
without
things.
costing them a
Yeah,
fortune. and
but I think.
You're still in there.
You're right, that's what I think you're still there. But if somebody else has a better idea, I'm.
What's Arm Lake's seasonal charges?
oh, good question.
It's not on there. Do you know, Mike?
No, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is.
Try to find it.
Yeah, I thought it was right around,
What's that, Mike?
I thought it was right around that 3 mark, but. My computer's freezing up. Yeah.
That's at Arm Lake? Okay.
I think what you said, Bob, 15% and 10 on the seasonal ones is good.
I can live with it. I agree with Bruce, so we should be looking at this a little more frequently.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be every couple of years instead of, 5 or 6, whatever
Yeah.
it was. 5 years, that was a long time.
Yeah.
What's full power rates at right now? You're having 15% on the $27 or?
Yeah. Well, but yeah.
Full power is
service.
20, are you talking just daily?
Yeah,
Yeah,
22.
27.
no, just for power, well, it depends which one.
For power is 22, for full service 27 right now.
Yeah.
Full service.
So
Plus
that-
15%.
Yeah, well, that's the number I looked
Yeah.
at, but.
No, that sounds,
So
no,
what's
I'm
that, what's
good
that
with
take it up to? And then round up to the nearest buck.
That's 31.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll go back on that one. But I mean, it's over 50 cents. Go up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I think-
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so 15% on everything except seasonal, and they go up 10%. Okay, any more of the discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay.
Is that in the motion, 15% to the nearest dollar then? Yeah.
Round it up to the nearest.
Yeah.
dollar.
Sorry, just to clarify, rounded up to the nearest dollar?
Or down.
Rounded to the nearest dollar?
Okay, round it to the nearest dollar.
Yeah.
I like rounded up.
Yeah.
You like
So
rounded up?
I did, when I first looked at it,
3105,
I
so
did
That's
too.
what you went with.
That's
so
what
I'm
I
fine
first
with that.
started, was round it up to the nearest dollar.
That's right, Bob.
It was just a suggestion. You got it. I don't know.
Is this their motion or mine?
What's your motion, say that?
So round it up.
Oh, there you go.
Round it up?
That's what his motion is. And that's actually what he said in his motion.
He
That
did.
was the intent. Okay. Accounts. Are you still with us, or not unless you want to be?
If you
I don't
let me
think
go,
we have.
I'll- if you want me to stay, I'll
It's
stay.
up to you. I don't have, does anybody have anything else for him?
I'll just give you a quick update on Central City. They've got all the milling done,
Yep.
and they've started on 444. And of course, today's a rain day, but they'll be back at it tomorrow. Their projection is about 8 days of paving to finish the project. But we have allotted, I think we've allotted 12 days in total, so,
Okay.
yeah, things
How
are going.
did the traffic go there? I heard some complaints about when they were doing the overpass, they didn't put enough signage up to have everybody.
I think
turn.
on any road project, you can never have enough signage. We could sign it from here to who knows where, but it's, the overpass is a tough go. I mean, I think a lot of people realize that, or don't realize there's another way to get around, because they
Yeah.
all have to drive on it, but it's always a tough go on the overpass. So
Okay.
snow plowing, any type of work, maintenance work is always a tough go. Well, we like to keep, we like to keep it open to accommodate people that don't know there's another route, right? So we do the
Yeah,
best we
okay.
can.
No,
But- Yeah, but as far as complaints, that's the first I've heard, Bruce.
No, yeah, no, it was
So-
just more a comment than a
Yeah.
complaint. so.
Yeah.
Where are they working out of Preston?
Pardon me?
Where are they making their concrete, or their?
The asphalt's is north of Gilt Edge in the Tondu pit.
Okay.
I think it's White Cloud.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's where it's coming out of.
Same truckers hauling?
No, I think when you're hauling asphalt, there's a different division
Yeah.
they use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a different type of
Because
truck.
they're in dumps.
Yeah.
You have a problem with the truckers, Billy?
Yeah, they like
They did a good job
115K on our
fixing
80
it.
road.
Yeah.
The patching on it.
Yeah. The thing with asphalt too, Bill,
Hey,
is
guys.
there's not as frequent trucks because they can't handle the quantities as much as they can when they're doing a GBC
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So I'd say there's probably a third of the trucks, even maybe a quarter of the trucks, right? Because they can't handle those quantities. So it's a lot less traffic.
There were 6 parked down there at the motel this morning, so
Yeah.
that's probably all they need.
Yeah. So, all right, with that, I've used up enough of your time. Thank you very
No,
much.
It's been great. Thank you.
No.
Enjoy the wet weather.
We will. Okay, accounts.
Are we done there? We made the motion, we didn't call for it, and we're going over the golf course or not?
Oh, that was, yeah,
Oscar made the motion. Yeah, it was all in favor?
for seasonal, but what about the golf?
Yeah.
We were going to talk about
That's
it
the same,
too.
that was everything, 15% on everything.
Oh, and the golf
Oh,
too?
I misunderstood, okay.
Yeah, that's why I said 15% on everything on that list on page 22 plus 10%, except for 10% on
Right.
seasonals. Yeah, it was
Well,
all
the
one.
seasonal, that's what I was wondering about, was the seasonal
Yeah.
golfers.
It's 15%.
Okay.
It's still pretty reasonable.
Oh, yeah, no, it was just people ask questions and you should
Yeah.
have the answer, right?
Yeah, okay. Accounts, they're there for your perusal. Any questions or comments?
Pretty
I'll
quiet.
make that motion, Bob.
Thanks, Oscar. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. A financial statement. I need somebody to approve it as presented by administration.
So moved.
Thanks, Mike. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, it's carried. Okay, reserves.
Ooh,
Okay, I just wanted to make a quick comment on the reserves. Just note that that there will be an adjustment to the Wainwright Reserve.
On fire?
On fire, yeah.
Right.
As we have to pay the town of Wainwright and the village of Irma for their portion of compensation for the wildland fire aid.
We have to pay, but have we received anything back from that?
Yes,
fund?
so we have invoiced out the province and a few of the municipalities that were involved.
Yeah.
And we actually have received payment for most of what we invoiced the province already. So based on all of that coming in, then we will then compensate the village and the town for their portion of those, of
Perfect.
that compensation.
Okay.
Okay. So does everybody understand the what we have to do on the reserves?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we just need to go back on the motion that Oscar made for the camping. I never called the question. Thanks to our tech staff for finding it out. So all in favor of Oscar's motion? Opposed or any? It's carried. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, administration.
questions on
Status
the-
report.
Yeah, I
Anybody
have
have
a
questions?
question
Okay,
there.
go ahead,
I'm just
Bill.
wondering, Kelly, how you're making out with our meeting with Alberta Transportation and CN?
I'm having a hard time getting a hold of them. So, but I'm trying to arrange a meeting with them.
Getting a hold of who?
CN.
CN?
Yeah, and Alberta Transportation, as a matter of fact.
That's the
I'm
one down
working
the-
on
I mean,
that.
I think, in my mind, I want to do this sooner than later because they're twinning it right now, and I mean, I think we should have had this done prior to that. I mean, it's going to cost a lot more money now. They got the arm set up there. We're going to have to pay to move it. It's going to be a lot bigger expense to us, crossing 2 tracks now than 1.
Yeah, I know we waited for the grant. We didn't get the grant. We keep applying for it. I'm going to apply for it again by the end of July and try to arrange a meeting. So I'll keep you updated on that and reach out to CN, see if I can arrange something as soon as possible.
I got a contact from CN. I'll
Okay, if
I'll
you wouldn't
give
mind.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
couple. I'll give you the vice president, Sean Flynn. I'll give you his contact and see if we can, or I can even phone him and see if we can rattle some things up.
If you can give him a call, that would
Yeah,
help too.
yeah, he's pretty receptive too. So, okay, anything else anybody has?
Nothing on 894 yet, Kelly?
Again, I've been reaching out to Derek King, and but he's trying to arrange a meeting here, hopefully to come to Wainwright. The last time I talked to him, so.
Have you had trouble getting a hold of
So
him?
not Derek King, Derek
Derek
Young.
Young.
Derek Young.
Have you been able to get a hold of him? I've been trying the last couple of days.
No.
Okay, anything else?
With the depression, we can give that a little back.
Yeah, it's a lot better, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, crop rates. What do you guys want to do?
Well, most of it's gone down, hasn't it? Or is,
No,
I'm
well,
not
it
a
did,
grain
and
farmer, so
it
I
did,
don't
and it's
know.
coming back up again now.
Oh, okay.
After the last, and then I think after what happened Monday is going to probably go back up. It's already jumped 3% since Monday in wheat, and I think it's probably going to continue going up for now, for the short term anyways.
So do you think these?
I don't think they're too far. I mean, canola's 1857 or 1860.
Canola might be the highest
Huh?
out. Canola's probably the biggest one that is out the most right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit high.
I think wheat's in line and barley's.
Yeah, I
Barley's-
think you could drop canola a buck and be safe.
I would too. I would have a tendency to lower it at $1,
Yeah,
20. I mean, I don't think you can get 20 anywhere, but you want to make sure that people.
Yeah.
well, it's a contract. If they bring a contract in,
yeah.
it's higher.
So the rest of them look,
The rest of them look pretty good, Bruce, in my.
okay.
I'm not sure on flax. I don't know where flax is. I don't follow it, so I don't.
I don't think there's enough.
Not
crops
enough
growing
people grow it to,
Make a difference.
yeah.
I think it's premature to raise or lower any of these, they're pretty close. And if you're watching the market, I think you'll see rate of $21 before you even get any off the field.
No, rape is 2 years, Oscar. Canola is $21.
Canola.
Canola, whatever.
Yeah.
That was a good one, Bill.
But
And you might be right, I don't know.
But I don't think it's gonna, I don't think these are far.
well, what do you want to do? Somebody make a motion, do something.
I'll make a motion just to leave them the way they are.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed of any?
Because
Carried.
you don't have a crop.
Oh, dear.
Okay, 4-H, thank you letter from the 4-H. All I got was a cover,
Now I lost my spot because of my.
page 41. Okay, bylaw officer discussion. Okay, I added that to the agenda. We met with the fella last week. Just wonder where council wants to go with this. The suggestion that I had was administration maybe sitting down with him and working out an on-call contract. I mean, he said he wanted to go over our bylaws to see how they would fit. I would say the administration sit down with him, work out an on-call agreement or contract, and then bring that agreement back to council for approval at a later meeting. I think there's merit in what he's offering, but that's just my thoughts. I don't know what the rest of you guys think. I mean, we're either going to do something or not. So I think that we have an opportunity if you wish, and if you don't wish, well, then you don't wish.
I'd like to see us have that discussion, sit down with them and see what administration can work out with them, and then bring it back to the table.
Yeah, because we'll have another go at this. So, but I certainly would want an on-call, not a weekly drive-through. I don't think
Yeah,
that's
I agree with
necessary
that.
for us. I think that, and one thing I would like to administration to do is that we deal with it the same way we deal with it right now. Like, he wouldn't be the first person; he would be the last. Like, we would, if right now we get a complaint that goes to MPC, MPC deals with it however they deal. They talk to them, they write a letter, they do our process first. And
Yeah.
if nothing comes out of our process, that's when you would call them.
Yeah.
That's my thought. I don't know unless you
No,
guys
I
think
like
something.
that idea.
I don't want to take away from our process, because
No.
I think we'd be challenged on that.
Well, and I think a lot of times we'll solve the
Yeah,
issue
yeah,
and
yeah.
won't be needed.
I don't know, Robin, what do you
I don't
think?
know.
What's your thoughts? It affects probably you and Mike more than anybody else, so I know what you're.
A nice tool if administration felt comfortable working with them. He seems he's not rammy, he's not overreaching. He
Yeah,
says that most things are looked after with a phone call and a visit because people don't really understand. My only concern is for the chronic complainer, and maybe he has something in mind. I didn't really get out of him what you do about the person that tends to over and over and over again. He did say he just would
Yeah.
have a visit and educate them as well. That would be my only concern.
hey, Mike?
No, I'm fine with having the discussion and seeing, and as long as the process, like you say, is set up where we're heavily involved until we can't come to a resolution, and then he'd be basically a third party that would come in and try to settle the dispute, so.
Yeah.
What's the discussion for?
What's that?
What's the discussion for?
Well, lots of stuff we can solve here through MPC or.
No,
or
but what
can-
do you want administration to discuss with him?
Well, just
just
that,
the
that's the way the
contract.
contract's gonna be worded.
How the discussion is how they would word
Yeah.
how the contract would be worded, and lay out the details in the contract, and that's what I'd like to see as the council before it's signed. Because we talked about a bunch of different things, but we never nailed
Yeah.
down the exact process. And I would like to see administration work on a contract with him of how it's laid out, because I think the contract would be specific that that's the process we'd follow. That's what I think. That's what I meant by having the discussion.
Is it gonna come to council every time
they need to phone them, or is?
It'll come to MPC, it won't come to, well, I would say it that comes to MPC, not council. Because
Okay.
MPC handles that.
So if a counselor wants them to go out there, it has to go through MPC?
That's the process we have now. And that's the process I think we should keep. I don't think it's, I don't know that you would want a council, well, the counselor wouldn't have the authority to phone them anyways. I mean, they don't. I mean, it was set up that it has to go through administration or MPC to make that call. We wouldn't be making it as a counselor. So that's why I think if we keep the same process we're doing right now, then that's the way it is. The counselor brings it to MPC, we deal with it here first, and if we can't find a resolve, then we...
Are you saying that those complaints have come to the MPC meeting? They have not come to the MPC meeting.
But anytime we write a letter, it has to come from somewhere. I mean, there's going to be chatter between you and your ratepayers, but any action that is taken is not taken by a counselor. It's taken, like a counselor can't go give direction to start writing letters. It has to be done through a process in the office. So any letter writing is done through MPC or council, however, wherever. But usually it comes to MPC first.
So
Well,
the
when you need the
council-
dog catcher,
councillor-
does it go to MPC?
No, dog sector's on a separate.
Well, if you're catching a pig, does it need to go to MPC?
No.
I'm just,
That's what I'm wondering too, does that
yeah, because
councillor
some of
not
this
get a
is,
chance
you're
to
contradicting
solve that?
with some of this. Like,
Well, it's however you guys want to lay it out. I mean, do you want, but who's going to make that, when you send a dog catcher, is it a counselor that phones a dog catcher?
No, that's usually done by administration. We get a
Administration.
complaint in the
Yeah.
office and we take care of it.
Yeah.
So I can see if council would agree, that probably would be no different in this process. We'd work with the counselor and take care of the issue.
Yeah.
Usually the authority comes from the land use bylaw anyway.
Yeah. Well, usually on the dogs, you want it resolved right away.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, so far it's worked out well. I mean, you phone in here and the dog catcher goes out and,
well, I didn't see the dog catcher catching them chicks that were going through the fence.
it's chicks, not dogs. There's a difference. One is 3 letters and one's more.
Well, it's however you guys want to deal. I mean, if you want to follow the kind of the dog catcher rule, then, but
It's
I know
worked
that
well.
any letters that are wrote come from it. They're not,
Yeah.
they come from council, right?
I like the way it stays now.
Yeah.
It works.
It works?
Well, I mean, for the dogs and that, I mean, that's all I've used it
Yeah.
for, and
But then I'm thinking of Robin, she's got a list there of 15 items there that she's got people complaining about, so.
so we'll bring it up at MPC, and if it
Is that what you want to do?
doesn't work, well,
Well, I mean, if you get the bylaw, I mean, there'll be a different way of resolving it. So, okay, this is what my thought. Do you guys want to do something different? I mean, I'm open to whatever you guys suggest.
yeah.
I think when you clarify with Wayne, the way he discussed it with me, often the counselor's never involved, and it goes straight to Kelly, and then the land use bylaw is used, and then Wayne enforces it. There is no need for a counselor to ever to be involved, but you guys make it sound like you prefer to be involved.
I wonder if we should table this and maybe bring it to MPC for further discussion?
Yeah.
Since it's going to be involved.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you're
I
right.
agree.
Yeah, I think that we can search it out better there.
And clarification from
Yeah.
Wayne, because that's how he described it to me.
Yeah, I didn't get that from him, but, I mean, that's not the way that I understood what he said, but, okay, well, let's have a re-go at this at MPC
Yeah.
and work it from there then. Okay, RMA contacts, member bulletins. What time is it? Oh, we got time. Okay, RFD from the village of Chauvin. The library board, we need a, what do we need here, a motion or a?
Just need a motion to sign it.
Well, just, I wanted direction from council on this. Do you want to just acknowledge the agreement, or do you want to enter into an agreement? Because we'll need, according to the Library Act, we need a bylaw to approve an agreement to establish a library board. So are you guys trying to establish a library board, or just to acknowledge the agreement that we're part of it?
just acknowledge the agreement that we're part of it, because we don't own the library, but we are sitting on the library board because of the way the money's laid out.
Okay, so the
But
motion,
Where's their library, Oscar?
We have an agreement, I believe the agreement was sent up to you, right?
yeah, it's in the package.
So
It's
it
in the
just,
package, yeah.
nothing's changing on it. So all they're gonna do is re-sign it to bring all the names up to date that are on the contracts, that's all. There's no change to what's going on.
Just so council understands that we can't be part of an agreement without a bylaw or a ministerial approval. But we can be part of that board. See, the Chauvin Library, or the Village of Chauvin passed an agreement, it has ministerial approval to have a library board. It's their board, right? And they just appoint us to be part of it.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah. So this would just be acknowledging that we're part of the process, but not a typical agreement.
So do we have representatives on the Chauvin Library Board?
Would
Yes.
be Councillor Buck, yes.
But do we have any members at large?
Yeah.
And so by acknowledging that, we're okay with the member at large and Oscar being on there with an acknowledgement? Like, I didn't see that in the agreement, that's why I was.
Well, if there's members at large, it would be Village of Chauvin approving them, right, appointing them. Yeah.
It wouldn't be us.
No.
No. And when I read it, I didn't see anywhere that an MD board member will specifically be on there. There's nowhere that
Yeah,
says-
that's what I was looking, like ours are spelled out, who is the membership.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in here says that we will, that's why I was,
So this bylaw that's in place now, 1366, we should replace it first?
Bruce, I think you're on the next item.
no, you're too
No.
far, Bruce.
Yeah.
I don't think so, was I? Oh, yeah, I am.
So-
One
So can it
little
be
line.
mistaken if we sign this that we're agreeing into an agreement and we're against our own bylaws then? Could it be read that way?
Well, if council approves it, I could just say that we acknowledge the agreement and agree to be part of the process, but not enter into an agreement with Chauvin because we don't have the authority to.
So we wouldn't, so it's so our municipal rep wouldn't be approved through here then?
No, it's
It's
approved through
approved
Chauvin.
through Chauvin
Yes.
Library Board.
Yes,
So we would pick a person, then Chauvin would have to approve it, and not here.
which would be Oscar.
But if they got a member at large as well?
We wouldn't have anything to do with that.
No, they appoint them.
That's their board.
Okay,
So you don't have a member at large for them
yeah.
Pardon? Yeah, we do. We try to keep both ways
either?
on
Well,
that
who
board.
put him in then, or her, him or her? Who appointed him or her? Chauvin or the MD?
Chauvin appointed them, but when we out PR them for them as a board, we try and get some from the rural and some from in town. And we've been fairly fortunate we've been able to do that. But the town still has to approve them, yes.
I think, Oscar, the board just wants the MD to acknowledge his participation into the board. So I think if we make a motion, we should be safe with that.
Yeah, I'm good if that's administration.
Yeah, I don't know why they want one, because there's no difference, it's not doing anything.
And there's nothing in this
I don't see
agreement
any,
that says
I don't see
that-
any value to this.
Do we have to have it for Oscar to be on the board?
No.
No.
No, because Chauvin approves it.
So why, okay, then why are we here then? Like, yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't know, I'll make the motion one way or the other, but we don't really need it.
We have one before signed with them?
No.
Okay, scrap it
Okay. So no action then.
and I'll talk to Martina.
Okay,
Now we
no
can
action.
sign.
Okay, bylaw number
I've been through this one.
1696. We need a motion to replace, or to add, Larry, what's
Yeah, we're actually just going to repeal bylaw 1366, which appoints our previous assessor, since he's no longer going to be in that capacity at the end of July. So this bylaw appoints Larry James as the MD assessor and as a designated officer.
Okay, so we have to have that person named as an assessor, I take it?
That's correct, according
Okay.
to the Municipal Government Act, yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we have a bylaw to do then. Bylaw number 1696, be resolved that the Council of MBA Wainwright, Province of Alberta do the acts following that Larry James of Wainwright Assessor be appointed as a designated officer of the MBA Wainwright, and the designated officer carry out functions, duties, and powers under the Municipal Government Act number 61. Any previous assessor appointments hereby rescinded. And this bylaw repeals and replaces bylaw number 1366 of the MDA Wainwright. And it should come to force upon the final passing. So I need first reading.
Okay, just
Yep.
as I read this, and it's an error on my part in drafting the bylaw, is that we need to make this effective July 31st, not upon passing, because that's when all this takes place. So if we could amend this to take effect July 31st.
Can you make a bylaw that takes effect on a different date?
I believe you can, if it's in the bylaw. Because we're in a conundrum, because our next meeting is not until July, so we have to have an appointed assessor.
Okay. I just didn't know you could make a bylaw and put a future date on it. I thought it was either, I'm not,
Well, what we could do is the bylaw becomes effective today. We could strike the part.
Can we just add the other name on there?
let's just have a break, because we got to get this right, because it is bylaw.
Yeah.
So let's just take a coffee break, and then we'll come back. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. We have got the bylaw straightened out, so we're going with first reading. Need somebody to move first reading.
Billy?
Okay, Bill, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yep.
Opposed of any? It's carried. Second reading moved by Bruce. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Motion to proceed.
Yep.
Oscar? All in favor? Opposed of any? It's carried. Third and final motion moved by Richard. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Oh, okay. Okay. Is this fella going to be on here right away?
IT?
Where is, should Preston not be in for this too?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's one hiring. Well,
This is
Kelly,
more
I
of an
guess.
economic development thing, Bill, as opposed to public works, but I mean, if there's
Economic development?
indirect
Yeah.
benefit that we could, well, getting people to move to the area.
Oh, not about hiring people at all?
No.
Just getting people.
Well, I mean,
moving
that could
in.
be an indirect benefit.
That's the
but I
question.
think that's
That's the
mostly,
question I asked. Can I
it's
come?
mostly economic development,
Okay.
the way I understand it.
Yep, no, you're right.
Okay, let's go to Kim in here. Kim, maybe you start on your report, Kim. Kim's development, her report's in front of you. Anybody have any questions or comments? Not a motion to approve it as presented.
Yep.
Thanks, Oscar. All in favor? Opposed of any? It's carried. Okay, conference. There's a conference coming up. We usually send counselor and development officer and a couple of folks from the watershed. You still want to do that?
Yeah,
Need a motion
is
to
it possible
approve
to add one for the Clear Lake Cabin Association, or Arm Lake, sorry? Yeah.
So you want to send an extra person? Is that what you're after? Okay.
They came last year on their own, so I would like to be able to.
Okay. So made a motion to make
Well,
it
maybe
amended
send
that there be one from Arm Lake, two from Clear Lake, Counselor Division 2 and the Development Officer.
And one from Division 6.
You mean the chair also?
Okay. Not sure about the Division 6 one, but,
Well, I thought I'd try.
well,
Looks like a good trip.
Is it in Banff? Oh, no, it's Sylvan Lake.
okay. Does somebody want to move it then? Is
Billy
that
will.
You're moving that, Mike? All in favor? Opposed, if any? It's carried.
Division 2 is the.
Okay, approval of the pay sheets. Need a motion to pay people?
I'll do that.
Thanks, Robin. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Is there a fella up yet? Okay, well, we'll start through the reports and we'll stop whenever. Sea cleaning plant, I didn't make it to the last meeting, so I will get some minutes and stuff for you. Edgerton?
Yeah, they had a meeting and the year-end total was down about 20,000 bushels. They did an inventory, compared it to last year, and it's about the same. And they're very thankful for the 10,000 from the MD.
Okay. FCS
Well, no meeting.
Foundation,
What's that?
Battle River Foundation.
Yep.
Yep, what?
Is that us?
That's you.
That's you.
Okay, we put the showers in and them rooms are full. We have 2 more people. We're at 85 capacity right now. We have 2 or 3 more that want to move in, but they also want shower, not a bathtub, because they can't get in and out of them. So probably next meeting, we'll be meeting about that, see if we want to add a couple more showers in there. There's 6 rooms that can have them right now, and we're looking at maybe doing 3. If they fill up, well, we'll look at doing the other 3. But other than that, I think everything's going pretty good. They want a cat in there, which could create a problem. The last cat we had was in the kitchen on the cupboards and all over and shitting on the walls. And there's also allergy issues, so I don't know how it's going to work.
Okay. Landfill.
Well, the poles are up, and I believe they've got the fence installed now.
I haven't been out there.
No, and
Yeah,
that's
not-
not up yet.
Oh,
It
okay,
was
so
an
that should be going
update.
up pretty soon. The oil recycling building has been moved to site, but it's still gonna be a process, so it's not imminent and,
It's piling up, Mike.
well, it's coming, it just takes time. And we did have a little bit of damage to one of the roofs of one of the outbuildings that insurance is looking after, so. Other than that, that's been about it.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's give me the lowdown on the grain bags going in there, Mike, because I'm really concerned about this. I mean, you got rules of how you want them in there, then how do we do that? How do we take a grain bag?
How do you mean?
Well, originally you
What's the
could put them in
rules?
the back of a truck and haul them in there and weigh them and dump them. And now you've got all these rules in place that you have to wrap them, roll
Gotta
them,
be-
wash them, double tie them.
Well, they don't necessarily have to be washed anymore, they've actually loosened up
Well,
on
it
that
says
quite a bit.
clean, tightly wrapped, double-tied, clean grain bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my wife is good, but she can't get them that tight. That's the problem. I don't think I can take them to the landfill.
Well, you might want to purchase a bag roller then, Bill, and
We tried that.
But you know what? I think if it's a requirement from the landfill, then you guys should purchase a bag roller so that we have that bag in compliance with what you want. There's my story.
I agree with you, Bill. That's a
So how do we
perfect
get the bag
opportunity
to 'em?
for them to do something for the community.
We'll take it back to the board.
Yeah, take it back to the board. I mean, if that's a requirement, then you should supply the
no,
tool.
you've got a
to-
valid point there.
Oh, very valid.
Yep. In your view, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's guys online. Okay, let's switch over to our guest, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I know you guys have a lot on your plate, and I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this trend that's happening all over Canada right now.
Okay, just before
In
you,
fact,
just before
yep,
you start, we'll just if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll go around the table
Yeah.
and introduce ourselves, and then you'll know who you're talking to.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
So my name is Luke, and I'm originally from Edmonton. I've moved out of the big city, actually to Costa Rica right now, but I'm working with communities in Alberta and all over Canada to try to promote them and to take advantage of this trend that's happening where people are getting out of the big cities, and what we want to do is help out the smaller communities benefit from these people and get the word out how great these smaller communities are. So
Okay.
I'll launch a little bit more into that as we go, but yeah, I'd love to hear
Okay, go ahead,
introductions.
Hi, I'm Bruce Cummins.
Richard Waddell.
Oscar Buck, Division 1.
I'm Bob Bars-Reeve.
Good morning, Kelly Baczynski, the Municipal Administrator.
Neil Noonan, Assistant Municipal Administrator.
Mike Wildebohr, Counselor, Division 2.
Robin Layton, Division 4.
Bill Lawson.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, again, thanks for taking time out to listen to me a little bit. I won't take much time. I know you guys are very busy, but there is a trend that's happening in Canada and in Alberta, and I just got back. I was a guest speaker at the Economic Development Conference in Alberta, talking about this topic, about how we can help the small communities benefit from all these people that are leaving the big cities. They're like me. I was tired of living in a big city, and what we need to do is get the word out about how great these small communities are, and to help the communities that want to attract workers and families and grow to be able to do that. Because that's kind of, the big challenge is name recognition. I'm from Edmonton, so I've heard of Wainwright before, of course, but how many people maybe, even in Edmonton, so I've heard of it, but have a lot of people in Edmonton heard of it, in Calgary, and then you start going past that radius of your city, and then your knowledge of those smaller communities drops drastically. So that's what we want to do, and that's why I was talking at the Economic Development Conference, is helping the communities so that they're not sitting back on the sidelines wondering why they didn't grow and benefit like other communities. So we have to promote, get the word out about the communities, and that's kind of what we do. We help, first of all, get the word of Wainwright on the brains of the people in the big cities that are leaving. So we do that by running ads on social media. Then the second thing, once we have put the name of Wainwright on their brains, now what we have to do is educate them and get them excited about that. And we do that by creating brochures that they can download and writing articles, etc. And then the third phase, and probably the most important phase, is staying on their radar throughout their decision-making process, because this isn't a weekend trip or a day trip. This is them moving their families and setting up roots in a new community. And that kind of decision takes weeks, months, maybe even many months. So we have to stay on their radar throughout that decision-making process. Or everything we did was a waste of time and energy and money, because we only sent them something once, and we sent it to them 6, 8, 10 months before they were ready to make their decision. It's not anything that we've created. We've been running and promoting businesses and companies for over 10 years like this, and this is what companies do. They get the word out, then they educate the people why their product is so great, and then they continually stay on their radar by contacting them. And big corporations, successful businesses do that. It's marketing 101, and that's all we do. But now, instead of doing it for companies and corporations, what we do is we do the exact same process for small communities. So I'll quickly kind of share my screen and show you exactly what that would look like for Wainwright. How do we do those three phases? Go ahead and share my screen with you. So are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, it looks good, thanks.
Yep.
Excellent. And you're not looking at my inbox or my calendar like I...
No, not yet, anyways.
Okay, great. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to be running ads to the people in the big cities. We'll discuss with you who are the targeted cities. This is Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto. People are leaving those cities in record numbers. Then we're going to run these ads targeting the people that you want to attract. Are you hurting for nurses? Are you looking for skilled laborers? Are you looking for foreign workers? Are you looking for families and remote workers? Getting out there on social media, just like successful companies have been doing for many, many years. Like I said, we didn't invent this. We're just using it for small communities now. Now, once the name Wainwright is on their brain and they've seen that, then they click on the ad that we're running on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, etc. And now what we want to do is start educating them, promoting how great your community is. So we will have brochures that they will download. Once they click on the ad, then we're going to create these brochures, this relocation guide like we did for Athabasca, for example, talking about how great your community is. I'm from Edmonton, and my knowledge of smaller communities in the surrounding area is limited, let's say. Why is Wainwright so amazing? Well, let's explain all of the great advantages that you have, especially targeting, the outdoor lifestyle. This is what really strikes a chord with city people. I used to have to, drive 30 minutes just to get to the place where I wanted to go mountain biking. And that's what really is effective for big city people. Golf courses, super expensive, etc. Water, there's the river in Edmonton and Calgary, but that's not fun. And winter also. Hey, let's promote the winter activities. We as Canadians kind of like try to ignore the fact that winter exists. It's a big part of our life, but winter in the city, it really sucks because you're surrounded by cement and streets, and there's no place to go cross-country skiing or ice fishing or skidooing or whatever. So promoting the great things in your community, the festivals that you have, the sense of community, the pricing of the accommodations and the housing, those are all things that really strike a chord. So this is what they would get when they download the email, or sorry, the brochure that they get once they click on the ad. We can also create, if you're more interested in investors and entrepreneurs, some communities like White City or Wetaskiwin that we're working with, they want less about individual families. What they want is people coming in there with money and investing, or entrepreneurs that are going to open up businesses. So we can create also something targeting them. Why is Wainwright a great place to open up a business or to invest, either residentially, commercially, etc.? So that's what they get immediately. But then we got to go into the third phase, which is probably the most important phase, and that is where we are staying in contact with them. Every 6 to 8 weeks, we'll send out newsletters about Wainwright, staying on their radar. Newsletters that link to articles that we'll create for you. Hey, why is Wainwright a great place to raise a family? Why is it a great place to open a business? Why is it a great place to, with great activities, etc.? Why is it a great place to be, to move out of the city for? Then that's basically the scenario. And it's not anything that we created, but this is marketing 101. This is why successful businesses use this. Big companies, Netflix, TripAdvisor, Uber, they all do the same thing. They're all running ads on social media. Then they give you something to download that gets you excited about it and interested in about it, and then they send you stuff periodically. I just got something last week from Netflix. It said, hey, just checking in, you haven't finished watching this movie. And they were right, I didn't. And what happens then? Once they send me that email, I start thinking about that movie. I start thinking about the actors and the characters and the plot and whether or not I'm going to finish watching it, etc. I would never have thought of that movie for the rest of my life had they not reached out to me. So that's basically what marketing is all about, but we're going to want to do the same thing for small towns. We'll create a page also for you that will host on our website. This is just kind of a cherry on the cake. This is not our product, but for what we'll promote, we'll create one of these things for you that shows how great your community is. All the great activities, probably no whale watching in Wetaskiwin or in Wainwright, but great sites, the day trips they can do, and the festivals, and all the community aspects that they can expect when they get there, including a lot of communities, especially in Alberta, want to highlight the First Nations areas and the community, and kind of bridge the gap between the community and the First Nations. So we can highlight and promote First Nations businesses, activities, tourist destinations, etc., if that's something that you were interested in doing, like many communities in Alberta have done. So we'll create one of those things for you, and then we'll have quarterly meetings with yourselves or whoever on your team, so that we're constantly improving throughout the year which ads are running better, which articles are being read more, looking at those analytics, who's clicking, how many people, and how we can improve and get more people looking, getting eyeballs on the things that we've created and also the things that you have created. So our pricing, that's the big question, is we're $3,450 US per year for us to create all of that content and to run your social media campaign, plus a $500 one-time setup fee. So the content that we create, also all those articles, all that brochure that we create, everything we create for you is also, it's white label, which means that you can use it any way you want. We'll use it in our way, but you can use that same content any way that you want. You can take our logo off, put your logo on, use it on your website, send it out any way that you want. It's yours, and it's yours for life. We're never going to take it back if you don't renew in years 2, 3, or 4, or 5, like a lot of businesses do. We think that's kind of scummy, that you pay for something and can only use it if you stay with us. We're not going to do that. If you don't renew in years 2, 3, or 4, all of it is yours. And that's basically what we do. We run a marketing campaign for you. And I understand that, you know, you have a tight budget and, you know, it's difficult sometimes to take that budget and use it into marketing. It is, because it's not, you know, tangible. It's not street cleaning. It's not, you know, improving your parks and things like that that people can visually see. But it is important. Promoting and marketing a company or promoting and marketing a community is important for growth. And you could have the greatest product in the world, greatest company in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it can only be so successful. And it's the same thing with communities. You could have a great community and put all this money into making it great, but if people from Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver don't know about what you're doing and don't know about your community, then that's definitely going to limit how much you can grow and how many people you can attract. So that's basically what we do. Like I said, I didn't want to take a whole lot of time right now. I'm open for any questions that anyone might have.
Okay, has anybody got any questions or comments?
Yeah, I've got a few questions here. Where do you get your information on Wainwright?
So we work with the community. We can do everything ourselves, but it's so much better if we get some information from you, because you are boots on the ground. There are things that you know, like, hey, what are some really good hidden gem day trips? Here's a great place to go on Thursdays for wings or whatever. Things like that we can't find out for ourselves. But it's basically, we run everything for you. We will find out any information necessary with your help. And then what you guys are responsible for, or somebody on your team, maybe it's Kim, is making sure that our information is accurate. Sometimes, you know, oh, this restaurant changed its name 3 months ago, or we closed this trail, or things like that. But basically, we run everything with the help. Any extra information, especially images, really help. Anything that you can help us with, we'll take and run. But it's not necessary for you to give us anything.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I see you doing, you realize you're fighting community against community.
Mm-hmm.
In so doing, you're attracting people to Wetaskiwin. I see you at Athabasca, at Wainwright. So you're getting the best of all of these. I mean, if you're getting paid, and then from every community. I mean, we could, you know, what makes them come to Wainwright? When you're striving for the dollar to bring them to Viking, to Camrose, to Athabasca, to wherever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ad campaigns are run separately. So the people that are seeing ads for Viking or Vilna, etc., will not be seeing the ads for Wainwright. It's all separate. And then it's a matter of promoting and showing how great you guys are.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I just got a question in regards to tracking. So you're putting this information out there. How do you guys see the results, and can you break it down into demographics, or where does this information end up?
We work with the communities to decide who sees the ad. That's one of the beautiful things about social media marketing as opposed to traditional marketing. Traditional running ads in newspapers, or magazines, or radio, or etc. You're just throwing it out there and hoping it lands on the people that you want. So if you, for example, really want to attract nurses, then only nurses will see your ads in Edmonton or in Calgary, or wherever we decide. Nurses between the ages of 25 and 40, nurses who have families or don't have families. We target who sees your ad so that you're not having 14-year-old boys or 90-year-old men seeing your ads. We decide who sees your ads. And then as far as tracking, we know exactly who is clicking, who is downloading. And again, it's not like traditional media. You didn't know that somebody heard your ad or read that magazine ad or anything. We know exactly who. We know their names, we know where they live, we know their occupation, we know their age, and we also have their emails because they gave us their emails to download that brochure. And that's how we're able to continually reach out to them in the future, and every 2 months send them those newsletters. So we track how many people are clicking, how many people are downloading, how often, how long they're spending reading that article, and how many people are opening the following emails that we're sending them. We cannot track, did Mary Smith move from Edmonton to Wainwright? There's no way of doing that. We don't track people like that, tracking their movements or anything, but we can track absolutely who's reading it, who's opening, who's downloading, etc.
So do you guys make recommendations on those numbers then?
Yeah, every 3 months. Yeah, you'll meet with our marketing director. He's from Thunder Bay, Ontario. He's the brains behind the marketing. I'm not, but he's been running a marketing agency for over 10 years, dealing with large corporations and banks and political parties. And he will, every 3 months, sit down with somebody on your team or Kim or something and say, hey, this is what we're looking at. Here's what we're seeing. Here's what's outperforming. Here's what's underperforming. Here's how we can improve in the future. Our campaign's very flexible. You can run some for winter, you run some for summer. You have a festival coming up that you want to promote. You want to switch a little bit, and okay, now we don't want to target nurses. Now what we need is teachers. So you're not locked into something from day one.
Thanks.
Have you worked in conjunction or given this to the town of Wainwright as well? Have you spoke to the town of Wainwright as well?
I believe so, but I don't know off the top of my head because I do deal with a lot of communities all over Canada. So I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, anybody got anything else? I've got a couple of questions. I see that by your presentation you do have one rural municipality. So how many rural municipalities in Alberta do you have, and how's the tracking going? Because I see your product might be more beneficial to an urban setting, and I just want to know how it's working for you in the rural areas.
Our entire brand is small communities. We don't even allow large urban areas on our website because that's not what the people come to our website for. They all know about Edmonton and Calgary. We don't even allow Banff and Jasper and well-known places. We're all about the hidden gems. So our entire brand is about smaller rural communities. And we go all the way down from Vilna, which is probably our smallest, is about 450 people. And, but most of our communities are around the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 population. We have about 13 or 14 in Alberta right now. Athabasca, Vilna, Vermilion, Grand Prairie County, Paint Earth County, Athabasca County. I used to be able to list them
Yeah,
off
no,
the
that's
top of my
okay.
head,
That's
but
okay.
I can't anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, you talk about small rural communities, but we're still defined as urban and rural. Even if you come from a small urban, you're still an urban. I mean, I know you're not doing the Edmontons, Calgary, Red Deers, and you're doing the smaller communities, but I'm talking specifically to a rural municipality, not a village, a town. And, how have you got any information, or how's that tracking going with those rural, that are strictly rural with no urbans? Or do you track
So
that separately?
for example, like Paint Earth County, I believe.
Yeah, they're like us.
Yeah. So they've just onboarded with us.
Okay.
So the onboarding process takes 8 weeks for
Okay.
us to create everything. So there hasn't been, I believe we just started running their ads a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So there's not enough data coming in for those ones, but that's our bread and butter.
Okay.
And we've, since I've talked at the Alberta Economic Conference, we've had a skyrocket of communities join us, but it's all because I just talked at that conference in April, and so we're just launching with a lot of Alberta communities now.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any comments or questions? Okay, Luke, seeing none, thank you for your presentation. It was quite interesting, and we will have a discussion on council what our next steps are, and administration will get a hold of you of what our next direction may be.
Excellent.
Okay.
I appreciate your time, and you guys have a great day.
You too, thanks a lot.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All righty, that was interesting. Anybody have any thoughts, initial thoughts, discussion thoughts?
Well, it's not really for us to tell them anything. And I just really wonder about community against community. It's everybody fighting everybody right now. Doctors, nurses. I mean, we can't bring doctors here because the hospital down the road paying more. It's a natural phenomenon that's happening. I don't see value in it, personally.
Okay, any other thoughts?
Economic development.
I mentioned the town because I'm surprised they wouldn't encourage us to work together.
Yeah. So,
Like
I
we
think-
would pay them 5,000 and the town would pay them
I
5,000.
can
Yeah.
bring it up at economic development that, we could co-do it.
Just seems like wouldn't make sense to individually do it.
No, I mean, they're trying to pull people out of the big centers like Edmonton, Calgary, Red Deer, and, that want more of a country lifestyle. So, country
Yeah.
out, was that town, or does that mean really country?
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah. Well, the only thing I do know, if you do nothing, everything stays the same, right?
Mhm.
So is it worth looking at if a town wants to partner on something? I don't know.
We can
I mean,
sure
every
bring it up.
every community offers different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could get it if they could partner for half each, $2,500 to showcase your community. If you bring two or
But I
three
think they're
families
doing
in.
that now.
What's that?
I mean, Carly's doing that now with economic, I got it on.
Turn Mike, turn Billy.
Carly's doing that right now with economic development. I think that's.
Well, most of what she's aiming at is the town,
Yeah.
like populating the
I
town.
think it's more
well.
business too.
I
mean,
mean, the
we pay her
physicians
too.
and all that, yeah, but sure, I think their main goal is to promote the town.
Well, why don't you bring it up with them next meeting, Bruce?
I
and
will.
we'll take it from there, unless anybody's got any other comments. Okay, East Central 911.
We had our regular meeting and general meeting a week ago. Most of the things that we were looking at, the generators in place, their new programming's in place. We talked about those radios. We still, there's no deadline for them, but at the same time, I think we should look into finding out what we need over, you know, that way the pricing is coming down on most of the radios because now Motorola doesn't have exclusive rights to it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But there's still no money from the provincial government, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Foundation? Health Foundation? Northern Light System, Library. Economic Development Board, Bruce?
We talked about quite a few things. This was one of them here. I didn't see the presentation. We talked about the RN nurses. We're going to do it every second year now, and instead of just, we were hoping for every year, but Drayton Valley's taking part of it. There's quite a shortage of daycare in the town. It's an ongoing issue. To register for daycare, you know, for inspections and stuff is quite a process. So it's a slow process to have more people come online for that. Oh yeah, the Husky buildings down here are going to dig out the tanks.
Oh, okay.
And then maybe put it up for, with the tanks gone, maybe they'll rent it out again. That's kind of the hope. And what was the other thing? Oh, there's quite a few vacant lots or businesses in Wainwright. So we talked about how to generate some more businesses using them. Second Avenue is probably one of the worst areas. So what else was there? Oh, and next year is the 100th anniversary of the clock tower. So they're going to fix it up, and there'll be a ceremony in September next year to commemorate 100 years of the old thing standing there. But it needs some mortar work and a bunch of other stuff, so hopefully it'll all get done.
That's good.
And that's about it.
Okay, thanks. Anybody got any questions or comments? The motion to approve the committee reports, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mike. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, looks like we got a couple of closed session issues and camera issues. Need a motion to go on camera. Moved by Oscar. All in favor? Opposed, any? Are you in favor?
Yeah.
with the fire invoice. Motion.
Charges?
Yeah, fire charges to the individual. Somebody want to put their name on that?
I'll put my name on it.
Okay, thanks, Oscar. You've heard the discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Like to what? Okay.
The motion is that we send out the bill. And we charge him for lighting the
Okay.
fire without a permit, so that it will go to court. So we do have a leg to get a court order to
And be
get paid
charged.
for.
And
That's
be
what it
charged
is,
under
yeah.
Force Protection Act.
Is there
Okay,
anything else, Bill?
it says here, moved by Councilor Buck, the MD of Wainwright invoice $5,553.75 for fire cost and a fire event on July 9th, 23 to the landowner on the fact the landowner burnt without a valid permit and charges be laid under the Forest and Fire Protection Act. Is that your motion? Okay. Okay, you've heard the motion. I'll go back again. All in favor? Put your hands up.
Hands up.
Hey, you guys, anybody opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Okay, need one more motion.
And that would be a motion for the cancellation of taxes as per,
Yep.
as per section 347(1)B, in the amount of $949,867.37.
Okay, Bill? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Any further discussion on Bill's motion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Okay, anything else come before the meeting? Motion to adjourn. Unless you want to stay here. You do that too? Okay, all in favor of Bill's motion? Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend.